All right, guys, so we are back with another restoration, but first I want to talk about how my pen turned out. I mean, this thing looks great. Here's another pen that, not that one that I restored, but just to kind of show you guys the color and how black this thing really turned out. The imprint on this pen looks great. I was all worried that I had wiped some of this off with the last stuff, but everything came out wonderful on this pen. You can just see that it's all uniform. Looks really, really nice. So this turned out stunning. And now I have this pen, the same pen essentially. It's a Waterman 12, but this one is in black chase hard rubber. And what's fun about this one too is, so nothing was standardized on Watermans until like the 30s. So you can get two of these pens, they'll be different lengths, like slightly off between the different pens. And what's really funny, and I've had a couple pens like this, but the imprint is cut off by the bands. This is a thing that was common. It almost looks like it says Watermans. The Y in New York is cut off. The P in patent is cut off, and almost the A in the USA is cut off. But pretty funny. That's just something that happened frequently on these pens. And what they did to make it work is, here is a number 14. They made the imprint a little bit more narrow. It's a 3-line instead of a 2-line imprint. And now the bands, which are bigger on this pen, aren't cutting off that imprint. Yeah, just something fun and interesting. So I'm going to use Dr. G's again. You can see how black it is from the last time I used it. I'm just going to follow what Matt Greenberger told me to do. I'm going to unscrew the section here. I haven't cleaned any of this out, but since this stuff is already black, I'm not so worried about it. I'm going to take off the section here. A little dirty, but that's okay. Put that off the side. I'll clean that later. And I'm just going to cap this like this and then put it in the deoxidizer. That should work if I need to remove the cap. I'm just not quite sure if there's enough liquid in here to be able to cover it up completely, but we'll see. And I'm gonna let this sit for probably about 2 hours, and then we'll go in and buff it and see how it comes out after that. And then I'll use some of that sunshine cloth that I have to make it somewhat shiny again. But yeah, I wanna keep, I mean, this thing looks pretty minty. You know, maybe I should run this under some water just to clean it out a bit. Okay. All right. I am so glad I did that. It was so full. There was so much ink in there. Like, so I'm happy. I'm very happy that I did that. But you can now just see, just from that little bit of water, how much it's lost its luster, and it just doesn't quite look as shiny as it was. You know, that's what water does to these things. But now we're gonna drop this into the Dr. G's Pen Apothecary deoxidizer, and we will make this thing look nice again in a couple of hours. In the meantime, I am going to go set up my Christmas decorations. Christmas lights to put up, Christmas tree to put out. Let's get to making this pen gorgeous again. All right. Open up the bottle. Again, you can use this for up to 5 uses. So this is use number 2 for me. Let's just do this. Down it goes. There it goes. All right, cool. So there you go. They're in there. And we will get them out of there in a couple hours. Right now it is, it's about 11:20. Come back around 1:20 or so. All right. See you then. All right, so we are back. It has actually almost been 3 hours since I put the pen in the solution here. Before I crack this open, I'm gonna open up some boxes that arrived to my P.O. box. So this is the first one, this Temptations box. This came from eBay. Do not cut open. Well, I'm gonna cut open anyways. A really nice early Waterman's, well, you can see copyright 1920, so it's from the early 20s. Ink bottle. On the back it has a nice label. And this one's had green writing fluid. But yeah, just a nice little bottle. I have some smaller ones, and I have one that's bigger. That is from the L.E. Waterman Company Limited out of Canada. So there you go, made in Canada down here. On the back side it has the same label, just made in Canada. It's hard to make out, but it says Waterman's Ideal Ink around the top. Paid $65 for this. Nice little addition. And then there's what's in this box. This came from Mia Global Enterprises, which is Pen Kingdom, Dimitri, the rare pen guy. sort of felt box here, wrapped in tape. All right, there we go. Dimitri's card. Go. In here we have 4 pens. All right, so here is everything that I got from Dimitri. I'll actually start off with this one. This is a Waterman number 2. It's not marked on the butt end, but this is an early one, pre-globe with a star nib. So it has an early star nib. There's 2 different versions of the star nib. There's this one, which is the small star nib, which they made from 1896 to 1897. And then there's a slightly larger version of this star nib that was made from 1897 to 1899. There's also a different kind of star nib where the breather hole is a star, but those nibs were made by Fairchild, and they're typically found on like number 4 size pens, I believe. I don't know everything, but this is a great pen. So this is probably from around 1896, 1897. And it has a nice early long feed on it. So that's good to see. The first pen was this number 2. Next pen is the same pen. It's a number 2. This is also pre-globe, which just means that there's no globe logo on it. They're the little, on this pen here, you can see that globe logo. So there's no globe logo on this one. It's another early number 2. This one also not marked number 2, but this one's chased. This one I'm gonna guess is from around 1900 because it does have a spoon feed on it, which was patented, I believe, in 1889. But really, really nice chasing, minty. The caps themselves were not chased, only the barrel of the pen was. Let's see the feed on this one. Not the long feed, but that's okay. Very flexible nib on it. So it'll be fun to try that one out. The next pen, this I don't think is the correct cap. It's a cap that will work for it, but it's not the correct cap. Another pre-globe. This is a number 3 with a very nice number 3 nib on there. This has the 3 Fisher feet on it, so this is pre-1889. Just really, really nice. Again, that cap doesn't quite line up with the pen. That's a little too flat to be one of the earlier ones, but it's it's fine. Things are hard to come by, so I'm just happy to have 3 in my collection. And then the last pen is this. It is a 14P. On the bottom it says 114, which is a pump filler, so 14P or 114 means the same thing. But this is a pump filling pen, so we can unscrew the back end here, and that is the little pump filler mechanism. You stick this in a bottle of ink, and you pump it up. That's how you fill up the pen. With this 14P, I now have a 12P, a 13P, a 14P, and a 15P. So I now have all these pump fillers, 4 pump fillers in my collection. I shot that whole bit about my pump fillers, not realizing that the one that I thought was the 13P was actually just a 14. So this is my 13P that I have, my 113 13P, and then this was the other pen that I thought it was, but fairly similar. I mean, they're just the same modeled, just this one isn't a pump filler. So there you go. These are my pump fillers, so thank you, Dimitri. All right, it's now been a good enough amount of time. I think that we can pull the pen out. Yeah, we're like 4 hours into this, but it's not gonna hurt it. I have some old t-shirts to use to be able to wipe off the pen. And I have this ball jar again that I'm gonna use to pour in the contents. Go. The cap is just stuck to the top of this. Go. 1. I'm just dumping this all out. That's fine. Let's do this. There we go. And 2. All right, cool. That's fine. I just dumped it all over my desk there. But that's okay. And we'll let this kind of sit. We'll just damp it off a little bit. You can see the amount of gunk that's coming off of it. We'll just dry it off a little bit, and we'll buff this out in a second. Wow, yeah, it already looks so much better. It's not gunky like you saw as I poured it back in. It's very much a liquid. So here's where I thought that I was wiping off the imprint. I'm not. It's so matte that it looks like, You know, it just doesn't have that sheen to it. I'm gonna add a little bit of the Dr. G's Pen Rejuvenation on here. Let that sit on there for about 2 minutes and see if that will help. That's actually doing the trick a little bit. It's gonna look matte until I use the sunshine cloth on it, but actually it looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's compare it to this one. Yeah, I mean, that is a much better look there. Let's compare it to this guy. Yeah, wow, okay, cool. Like that's a good looking pen. Now I'm gonna use the sunshine cloth to polish it up a little bit. We might have a pretty good restoration on this. Here's another one of these sunshine cloths. Once I'm done with this, I'll probably hit it up with the pen rejuvenator just a little bit again, just to get more of a shine on it. It was recommended that I use some other things other than the sunshine cloth, but I don't mind the sunshine cloth. It does give it a little bit of a shine. It's working pretty well. Again, here it is next to a very, very, very shiny pen. But the colors, the black looks really good on there, so I'm happy with that. The feed is all gunked up still. You know, cleaned out this pen yet or anything like that, but nice. The imprint pretty much lines up with it, which is good. Wow. Okay, and there you have it, you guys. There is the finished pen with its imprint that is cut off. Here it is next to the other pen. It's actually darker now than the other pen, which is just awesome. Turned out great. And here it is compared to the previous pen that I restored using Dr. G's Pen Apothecary. So super cool. I'm really happy with that result. What do you guys think? Is it worth it to restore pens in this way? Would you just keep it as it is? Let me know. I'm hoping to make a couple more videos before the end of the year, but happy holidays, you guys. Can't believe 2023 is almost over. It's crazy. Thanks so much for checking out this video, you guys. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Roccanova, and I'll see you guys all real soon. All right, peace. I mean, it's not as fancy as the other neighbors, but it's a good look nonetheless.